closed down our house that day, and I had to tell my wife I wasn't gonna help her move because I had to play a show. And I was
Nice.
like, okay, cool. So it was one of the what first oldest Midwest music ska festivals, and it was held here in Wisconsin at Lawrence University, which was really cool in their gym.
It's a small university in Appleton, Wisconsin.
It's a liberal arts college.
Liberal arts.
I had
Very
a friend
liberal.
go there. She played flute. She now lives in New Mexico. She was a model. She did photography. She's beautiful. Anyways, but like when I had friends that went there, then I was like, oh my gosh, do you know about this thing? So, anyways, Kenny, I'll let you talk. Who are you? Why are you here? Not just like an existential question, but how do you come to be involved with Skappleton? And where are we today with this festival?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you maybe a brief overview. Skappleton started, like you said, in 1996, Appleton, Wisconsin. A bunch of students at Lawrence University. Ska was popular. They wanted to put on a ska festival. They got the permission to use a gym there. I believe it was one of the student arts committees, and they got some funding from the university. I believe, if I remember correctly, the first one they had, I think, Let's Go Bowling and the Toasters at Lawrence University. So I was not at the first couple Skappletons.
I wasn't old enough
at all. Yeah, I was old enough to be, but I was actually in the ska band, but I was honestly not too far away in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. But I was actually unaware of Skappleton going on until a couple of years into it. So, ironically, my wife, who is from Appleton, was at the first Skappleton.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
So at least in the family we can claim that we were at the first Skappleton. So that happened for several years. And then I was in, I got into the band Something to Do, or we started the band Something to Do back in the day, and was aware of Skappleton, thought I really want to play at this festival. So I reached out to the folks that were running it, the students that were running it, and said, hey, I'd be happy to help out, just let my band play at the show. And they said, that's great. So, and I had a lot of background in booking and writing contracts with bands and all that sort of stuff. So I got really involved and helped them bring on some they wanted to get some new, more well-known bands again. So we brought in Mustard Plug that first year and a variety of bands in the coming years. So that was really cool. So I got involved in both playing there with Something to Do and also helping put on the festival for several years. So that was a lot of fun. My probably favorite band that we ever got the opportunity to have at Skappleton was the Skattalites. Like, talk about
that's
ska
fucking awesome
history, and how many of them had. That was probably 2003, I want to say. How many of them are just no longer around? I mean,
it's history. When you get to have those bands play, that's like you have to go because you don't know how long the founding members are going to be around.
Right, and these are guys that played on the original ska records in Jamaica in the studios. These are guys that a lot of them were playing with Bob Marley in his band. I mean, it just was mind blowing that we even got them to play. They were all pretty old at that point already, though, because this is another memory of mine, is they showed up pretty late to the show, but in time to play. Most of them came in, and I remember some of them with their instrument cases, kind of using their instrument cases almost like cane to walk into the show. So, so that's like how old a lot of these guys were, and I was just like, I'm sitting there going with Zach, who was running it at the time. Man, I'm like, this may be bad. Like, these guys may be too old,
Right. Like, are we going to kill them?
Right. Right. So they go back to the dressing room, and I went back to check on them once, and of course could barely through the ganja smoke make it to the dressing room. These guys are real Jamaican guys for sure. And they came out though and killed it. I mean, just blew the room up, played like a bunch of guys who have been playing for 50 years, right? And just lit up the room. So that was a really cool experience. Those were the days where it was in a gym at Lawrence University, and the gym actually, especially the backstage, it sat over the top of a pool. You remember this, right?
I do. The floor was like whoop 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 as we're dancing, and we're like, oh.
The floor literally shook, and if you got in the dressing room backstage, you could look out over the pool.
And so I didn't get to ever go like that. So
yeah, and it was freaky,
cool.
So you could feel the whole room. I mean, the whole floor went up and down. It was a pretty large gym, and if you're in the backstage watching the pool, you're looking at the pool thinking like, someday we're all going to be swimming in there when this floor breaks.
Yes.
So But I really like the format back then. We had a stage on both ends of the gym.
You did?
We had one band, and then the next band, and then the next band. And a lot of fun. And I think, also some of my favorite memories back then were just some of the local bands,
Yeah.
that we had at that time.
Yeah.
Think back to, again, Something to Do, and I voted for Kodos. Pick 9 from Fond du Lac.
You had, I think, did the Jesters ever come play there? Because they're from Chicago.
Yeah, I believe we did have the Jesters at one point. We had the guys from Kenosha, the Hired Geeks.
I love Hired Geeks. They're so great.
Yeah.
Because they're different, unique.
They were very different.
Umbrella Bed.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably been the hardest band name for me to ever say, but they're from Minneapolis.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And then you have.
I love those guys. Friends with them. Yeah.
And long-standing members like the Invaders.
The Invaders.
Who, through many different names, have been Max and his wife Beth, and they continue just to make that music. Yeah. And they're on this year's fest too, right?
Yep, they are on this year. It's funny because Max contacted me and said, "How come we're not on this?" I'm like, "Well, we'll take care of that." And so I think
look, excuse me, sir. I apologize.
Yeah, it was a clerical error. But no, it was one of those things where I'm not actually doing the booking this year. So I passed the list along and said, "Here's the band you really want to book this year." And someone hadn't gotten to that yet. And I said, "No, here's the bands you really want to have on this year." So
right.
So that thankfully came through because in my mind, we always had a headliner,
you did.
And then we had Big D and the Kids Table, the Suburban Legends, Mustard Plug, Catch 22, Planet Smashers, the Toasters.
Oh yeah.
All these great bands. But to me, the important thing was that there was always this awesome group of local regional bands that came, and their fan bases were really excited to see them and to come and see these national acts. And I think. If I may jump ahead for a little bit, I'm going to circle back around to this, but I think that was a problem the last time that I put it on in 2016. I think that was where it went wrong in 2016.
Okay.
Is that, I'm just going to own this right here on camera, but we didn't quite get the local bands the way we should have.
Okay.
And I think it was a big damper on the festival. We had a lot of bands from all over the place that were great.
Right. But
I think the local bands really make the festival and really make the draw. So
that's where, I would have to agree with you. Is this festival is unique because of that aspect, because it supports the underdogs, the people who are trying to make it, who have looked up to these headliners for so long that they just want to play with them. And so, I initially started helping you guys with that, and then got put into doing the MC thing for Midwest Ska Fest, which was the sister festival to that, because it was 2 days, one in Skappleton. But Skappleton was long running, and then it ended.
Yeah.
It moved to Kimberly for one show.
Yeah. Actually, a few more than that, but go ahead. I'm going to go back into this.
So they went to Kimberly, right? I forget the name of it. Tanner's Bar, where it was also a volleyball court thing. And I remember Hired Geeks playing there. And anyways, that was a fun night.
So can I talk about how the festival ended up
leaving
Lawrence University?
How does that go?
So I think this is also a very interesting piece of Skappleton history that people don't know. So I had been involved in helping the people at Lawrence run it, as I mentioned before. And there was a year where it was 2007, because my son was born. And I said to the folks at Lawrence University, I can't help you out this year. There was a new gal from the school that was in charge of the committee. Yeah. I said, I'm having a baby. I said, I just can't be involved this year. I can't play. I can't help out. And I said, but here's what you should do. And here's what you shouldn't do. And somewhere along the way, she ignored the here's what you shouldn't do.
And did all of the things you shouldn't do.
Most of the things you should do. So, and no reason to point on names. I don't even remember the person's name, but it was, what was the band? Bomb the Music Industry was the headliner.
Yeah.
And one thing you shouldn't do is ever give a band a hotel room. And she booked a hotel room for Bomb the Music Industry under the Lawrence University.
Oh, not good.
Whatever booking, and they unfortunately destroyed the hotel room.
And I kind of thought that there was some sort of debauchery that had occurred that made Lawrence go, "Oh no, you're not coming back here."
Yeah, the hotel room got destroyed. And the funny thing was, Lawrence kind of didn't pay attention to it until the next year we had the festival upgoing booked 2 weeks away from actually happening at Lawrence University. And someone up in Lawrence said, "Remember that hotel room thing last year?
Yeah, no.
We don't want that to happen again."
Oh no.
so they basically said, "No, you're done. You're not having it here this year. Whatever." And we had bands coming from all over. We were in a panic, right?
Yeah.
So thankfully, if you remember the band Carful of Midgets.
Yes, I do.
From Appleton. And again, talk about local bands. We have had so many excellent local bands from, especially like the Fox Valley area and all around the state here, which is, again, what makes Skappleton great. But Tanner, I'm trying to remember, Tanner, drummer, trombone player. Anyway, his dad owned Tanner's Bar.
Okay.
Which is named after him.
Right.
So he said, you know what? My dad said we could bring the festival over there, the back room with the volleyball courts open, and boom, there went to Tanner's, and I think we had it there probably for actually 4, maybe 5 years.
Right. Well, then it went away. And then there was an attempt in Milwaukee at the Horny Goat.
There it was.
That was horrible. That shit sucked so fucking hard. I showed up. It was a rainy, cold May, gross day on the waterfront. Nothing, I don't think, was going according to plan. There was scrambling, I think, going on. Fans were showing up late. Dave Simon. You had...
Actually, yeah, they should have played.
They did, yeah. I know, because it was not good. Sound, I think, was an issue.
Well, sound was an issue because it was literally a big tent that they put over the sand volleyball pit. So it didn't help that the thing was in the sand.
No, it was.
And it was gross and nasty. And then they had a really awful neighbor near Horny Goat. And he had called noise complaints on them several times. So there was a max, 103 decibel max level that they could hit.
Yeah.
And so my friend Eric was the sound guy for that. I hired him to come in and do the sound, and the guy's amazing. He's worked for Sennheiser and Shure, and he went to Michigan State for
sound.
And sound for audio engineering, right? Amazing guy. But he said, you know what? He said, I can't. He's like, the cymbals are and the snare are the loudest thing. He's like, I can't. They're already over 103 decibels.
Right.
I can't get everyone else even up there. So it was just a bad scene. Cool, kind of a cool venue. The fact that it was on the river.
That
they
was
had
cool.
Fire pits, they had beer, but
that
for
was
the festival,
cool.
It sucked.
Right, and it was kind of why? Here's a question: why did it die? And how come we haven't been able to have it come back and be sustainable?
Yes, so that's a very fair question. So the reason that we came to Milwaukee in the first place is the thought was that it was kind of tapering off, and that we needed to move
We're back.
We're back. So thank you for bearing with us there. I believe what you just heard was the headliner for this year.
Yep.
Mephistopheles. Woo! They're awesome. They're just, how did they come to be the headliner?
So first thing is, I'm gonna be honest. Like, Skappleton is one ska band I've personally never seen live. So I'm super strange. I've been in the ska world forever.
That's awesome.
And never ever seen them live. So I'm totally stoked about this.
Oh.
Totally 100% stoked about this.
I
so.
would just make sure you pace yourself to be ready to go.
Okay.
Because, sorry.
I'm ready to go. I'm very stoked. This is gonna be my first time, and there's not too many bands, ska bands, I can say that about.
Are you bringing your children?
Yeah.
We're gonna bring them too, and they're like, Lily is really stoked about it. Alex is like, man, because the Crombies also want us to play with them.
Nice.
Yeah, because they're like, hey, your kids play horns, and I was like, yeah, they do. And
They'll play with
the
Crombies.
So we're gonna see if we can work that out.
Do you play horns, Jess?
I do.
You do?
Yeah. Have I ever been in a ska band? Hell no, I haven't. However,
we'll talk later. You guys are gonna play with me at Skappleton, so we'll talk about this later.
Oh my god! I'm just gonna I play clarinet and saxophone.
Perfect.
So we before our little what did you say? Technology break. We were talking about Milwaukee, the horny goat,
yes.
And that after that it kind of went away, and why that happened.
Yeah.
Like the point was to have a draw, and it was a wash.
And I'm gonna talk about part of the other reason of thinking about the horny goat in the first place is like we knew some people there. I think Joe from Something to Do was working there at the time, and there was this idea that maybe they were going to put up some budget for it. Like we were looking at like Less Than Jake, except the amount of, first of all, the budget for Less Than Jake is incredibly expensive.
Yes.
But the amount of lighting that they were requesting in their rider would have been enough to like burn down this whole block. So yeah,
that's insane. Do you sometimes get requests from bands and go, why the fuck do you need that?
Well, yeah, I remember I have it somewhere. I have like an old toaster. Like the Less Than Jake rider was ridiculous in terms of the amount of alcohol and food that was on it. But I remember there was an old Toasters rider that was like, we need 1 bottle of red Italian wine and 1 bottle of white French wine. And it was just like all this stuff. I was like, oh, like we're doing this at a university. Like, how do we get you some pizza?
Right. I'm sure if you talk to a cute like college chick, she might give you some weed.
Right.
Like, I don't know, man.
Right. And I know Buck is more down there than that, but you know.
He is.
Yeah.
Actually, that was one of my first ever ska shows was in Chicago, and it was Go Jimmy Go,
cool.
Toasters, Deals Gone Bad, and On Your Marks. And it was phenomenal. And I was like, I went to see the Toasters because I had never seen them, and Bucket came out, and I was like, oh my God! And he hugged me, and I was like, oh my God! So that show, he was way trashed. Like, couldn't get up on stage, and like, I think
I've never seen that before.
Oh yeah, no, it was interesting because I was like, are you normally like this, or because there were so many bands, they played really late. That show was very late. That was a very interesting experience.
Yeah.
We were supposed to go meet a friend. Because the show was so late, she was like, I guess you can spend the night. We ended up walking around Chicago. She wouldn't get back to me because it was so late. I think we ended up like hanging out in a restaurant till 3 a.m. until we could go sleep there, because she was at DePaul University, and she's like, I didn't know you were coming. And so it was just a whole to do, but it was a great show because from that, I got to, again, in 2008, see Go Jimmy Go in Hawaii.
Oh yeah, I've never seen them because of that. Yeah,
I went to Hawaii. They happened to be playing a show at the same time I was in Hawaii, and I was like, I'm fucking going to this show.
Amazing band. I mean,
amazing.
Yeah.
But Cam from that band follows us, watches our show. He purchased merch from us, and he has worn it, and like we've gotten to play it, and they've sent us Go Jimmy Go. Like I have some. He sent me a whole like, three
like promo
pocket
photos,
folder full of like cool Go Jimmy Go stuff. So that was really neat. So ska is very wonderful. But anyways, I digress.
No, that's okay. I could talk about that band for a while. You know, and I saw them because we were on a compilation with them a long time ago, and I was just like, this band's amazing. Who are they? They're from Hawaii. I did attempt to get them to come to Skappleton once, but it was one of those things where several years ago, but the flights to get them over here at that time because they weren't on tour was just a difficult thing to pull
very
off.
expensive.
And there's a lot of them. So
yeah. There is a lot of them. And now it's done just because they went on and had their own lives. But some of them still play music in other bands now. So like Eric White and his wife play music together. So that's still pretty cool. And they watch our show too, which is, I'm like, oh, hey,
Let's go, guys.
So Milwaukee ended it, really, yeah.
So Milwaukee kind of put a damper on it because it wasn't successful, and I was really kind of floating a good chunk of the budget at the time, hoping the show made the money to pay for itself.
Right.
So that kind of put us in a bad spot. However, we came back and said, the guys from Run and Punch were doing the Midwest Ska Fest, and they came back and said, hey, let's do this a 2-day thing. This is going to be great. And that's when we did. I think that was the 2016 show, and we brought it back to Tanner's in Appleton, and it's like I said. I think the mistake there was, I blame myself for this, was not quite loading up the local bands like we should have. And admittedly, we spent a lot of money on our headliners that year too, because they were going to play 2 shows, and it was good because we could get them for 2 shows. But probably not the headliners. Dan was actually great. Dan Potts. I always say his name awful. MU330. Dan P. He was great, but probably just the wrong mix of things. And I think the Chicago show went a little better in terms of draw, but there was also some gigantic reggae fest going on that year in Chicago on that same weekend, and blah 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 blah. So that, for me personally, the reason that kind of ended it for me, because once Lawrence University basically kicked it out, I was running it, I was funding it, I was booking the bands, the full responsibility of the finances and everything of it were on me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't making money on it at all, and I wasn't trying to make money on it. I was just trying to fund the show to keep it going. But once it hit 2016, it was such a financial backset that I'm just like, I just can't do this anymore. It was a difficult thing to continue to carry on. In fact, there's a post on the Skappleton website from back after that last show where I'm selling off some musical gear because I'm like, I gotta cover the expenses from this show. So I've recovered, don't worry. But no one's supposed to feel bad for me here. Like this was Skappleton was and is one of the best parts of my life. I've always enjoyed doing it. But I had to come into reason and not to spend all my family's money to run a ska show.
Right. Hey, Dad, can I be in band? No, gotta pay for this festival. Sorry, kid.
Right. Thankfully, my son's he's 15. He's a trombone player now. So I keep trying to convince him to play with me. That's not going so well. But at least I can buy a trombone now because I don't have to pay for Skappleton. I digress. But so long story short, I had no intention of doing Skappleton again. And then early, I don't know, however long ago it was, Appleton Beer Factory in downtown Appleton calls me up.
Okay.
And says, hey, remember that Skappleton festival you used to do? I said, yeah, it's John Sobey's the guy's name. And I said, yeah, he's like, we'd like to bring that back. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, what do you got in mind? And my first question is, who's funding it?
Right. That's an important question.
Right. And he goes, oh, well, we'll take care of the budget for it. I'm like, what do you need from me? like I'm happy to help. So
that's how this comes to be.
So this is how this comes to be. So thanks to John and the Appleton Beer Factory. So they're behind it. And I said, let me just help you guys. I'll advise, I'll promote. I want to get as many people to this as possible. If it all goes well, maybe we'll do it again. So we're pretty excited because the initial ticket sales are going pretty well.
Good.
We'd love more people to pre-buy tickets. John will tell
you
that.
So
please buy your tickets in advance. I know if you're waiting to the last minute, you can still maybe still get in, but they do have a capacity there. So ticket sales are going pretty well so far, but we'd love to see more people buy at a time.
That's great.
For sure. So
we'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm emceeing this thing.
Jess is our MC extraordinaire.
Yay! I'm just going to show up and talk bullshit and say, hey, you remember me from things like this show, that show. No, you don't, but you're here to see these guys. Ta-da.
Come in, give her a hug. I mean, she looks nice.
She looks nice. She only bites
nice.
A little bit.
She is nice.
It depends. I'm nice sometimes. Actually, I don't know if I've ever been mean. I mean, I have been mean when it's deserved, but if you come up and you're not a dickhead, I mean.
Right. So, but do come. I mean, seriously, just as I'm seeing, Metha Scott Fleas is there. We've got, an amazing lineup of bands. And it is 2 days this year. We should talk about that.
We are going to talk about that because we'll see. Our 14-year-old is graduating from 8th grade this year.
Awesome.
But the day of their dance is that Friday. And I'm like, she's like, no, I'm not going to that. We have a music festival to go to. And I'm like, do you want to go to that? Or you want to go with your friends one last time before high school to this thing? So I'm going to let Lily kind of pick if we leave Friday or not. But with that being said, Friday night is free. That's your bonus show. And
it's at a different venue.
Okay.
It's at a venue called Dr. Jekyll's.
What's that?
Dr. Jekyll's.
Have you ever been there?
It's another bar down the street. I have been there. Ironically, my wife's grandfather used to own that bar in Appleton.
Oh.
Way back in the day. So
this is you have to keep doing this festival because it just seems like all of the things keep lining up where somehow you're tied in.
Yeah.
Perpetually.
Yeah, I have this perpetual tie-in too. And strangely enough, to Skappleton and to the Fox Valley music scene in general. I don't know how to keep being involved there, but yeah.
I didn't know. I mean, it's saturated, with music. There are so many people in the Fox Valley because we've gotten a lot of bands who've come down here. And I'm like, what? How? Where are you from?
It's built a scene up there, and big credit to the folks that run the Mile of Music Festival, which made its way into Rolling Stone this year.
That's awesome.
Amazing. And I've been doing sound for that festival for a couple of years now because that's another thing I just enjoyed doing. But they've really made Appleton and the Fox Valley into a draw for live music and musicians from all over the world, which is super cool, right?
Very cool.
And excited. I'm excited that Skappleton gets to be a part of this new phase of the Fox Valley music, as it exists today in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Wonderful. So Dr. Jekyll is Dr. Jekyll's is Friday night. It says here the music's at 7. The doors are at 3 p.m. So is that you know what that is? That is like tea time. Right. So come get your tea or your beer and have a bite to eat and prepare yourself for an evening of enjoyable music. Because this lineup is, you've got DJ Chuck Wren, which I guess he's gonna spin throughout the night. Yeah. And then JF Zastro, is that how you say it?
I believe so, yeah.
Who's that?
I honestly don't know a lot about the Friday night lineup.
Oh.
This was all put together. This one was all put together by Appleton Beer Factory. Except I'm playing that night. That I know about.
Yeah, Kenny and friends. Who are the and friends? So
I'm going to be doing a set, and this is a totally for fun thing, and I would love everyone to come out to it. So I'm going to be working. Do you know the band Brewtown Beat? They're like a ska band from Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
So Jim Jacobs is going to be in that. A guy from Dino, a friend of mine, is going to be joining me, and my neighbor Dan, who is a drummer, is going to be there. And we literally have put together a list of your favorite ska songs, and we're going to pull out I brought my acoustic guitar. We're going to pull out our acoustic guitars and some drums, and we are going to play your favorite ska songs and have everyone sing along. It's going to be a big old ska sing along, and we want a lot of people there.
Kumbaya,
but in a fun ska way.
It can still be kumbaya and ska. That's unity, my friend. Unity.
Okay. Yeah, you got it. But in a fun ska way.
In a fun ska way.
Yeah. So we would love everyone to sing along.
What did he say? There you go. For a second, I thought that a phone went off. I was like, oh shit. Thank you, Colorado Chris, for scaring me. Let's see. The Chato Kennedy. Do you know who that is? Cool. Awesome. I know who Lefty Lucy is. And
Lefty Lucy, we do, yeah.
You guys should know too because they joined us. How long ago? A few weeks ago, right?
A month ago.
It was cold, right?
Yeah.
It was cold out. This week has been wonderful. So they're fun. I know them. Are they? So when you read a flyer, would they be considered the headliner for that night?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. But Saturday, this lineup is fucking stacked. I love it. Ready? Shall we? So DJ Chuck Wren, of course, because it would just seem that he's synonymous with anything that's a music festival, will be there. The Black and Blue Hearts, local legends.
That's me again, and you're going to be playing with me, just so you know. Keep going.
How does this work? I said one day, hey, do you need an MC? And now this has turned into a few bands like, you're going to play. I haven't touched my saxophone in I don't know how long.
It's going to be amazing. Don't worry.
Hey, I'm talking.
Jess will be performing with the Black and Blue Hearts that day.
Oh,
We'll
look
get
at
to that
legends,
later.
courtesy of Tim. Mescales, is that how you say that name?
Yes.
Okay.
I think all their lyrics are in Spanish from what
They
I
are.
recall. And they're amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Flying Raccoon Suit, they're from Mississippi. Space Monkey Mafia, they're from Minnesota. Joystick, where are they from?
I think they're from New Orleans, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Something to Do, who are they?
Oh, that is awful. That I was in for 12 years and started. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a long time.
Yeah. Well, then they're still a band and they're still amazing.
They are still a band.
You know what the best part about Something to Do is?
They're tiny shorts.
I was going to say Nate's haircut, but. Right? The best part about them is like they're literally an amalgamation of every cool Wisconsin ska band that you ever knew. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
You know, like every ska band that Something to Do played with when I was coming
They
up.
just kind of collected people and you just continued to shape into what they are now?
So like Nate and I were in a band called Vitamin King back in the day. It was a ska band from the Fond du Lac area. They got Chris on guitar, who was in I Voted for Kodos.
Yeah.
They've got Alice Kazar, who was in Car Full of Midgets.
Okay.
They've got the other Chris on trumpet, who was in The Scotsman.
Okay.
If you remember those guys from back in the day, amazing.
Oh my
Other local
God.
ska band from like the Stevens Point area.
Yeah.
Lil Jess, who's gosh in a bazillion projects.
I didn't say everything. She's also supposed to play with the Crown Bass that night.
Yeah, she plays with everyone.
Yeah.
She totally plays. She's probably gonna be playing with me. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, that'd be
I
cool.
asked her to. We'll see.
You should, yeah.
And so she's in with you too that day. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Jess squared.
Yeah, double Jess. I love it.
Bum, bum.
I love it. And who else is in there? Brad Klotz, who was the only guy that, the drummer who was not in a Wisconsin ska band, but I went to college with him, so
It counts.
yeah, it counts.
Yeah. Yeah, his daughter's like, what, 3 now?
I think so.
So because like Brad was like, oh look, and then they had their baby, and then I was like, that's how I'm marking the years. Like COVID happened, and now the child is like grown.
Awesome.
I have no clue who's entering my house. It would have been great if we locked the door.
I did ask you if you
I
let me
know.
lock the door, and you were like,
No one
"Ah."
walks into my house. We now take a short break while we welcome the new intruder. Chris, if you'd like to roll that beautiful bean footage, we'd greatly appreciate it.
Drivers, start your engines!
One shot, this is it. How can I keep pressing on? Moving forward, running hot, but fuel light is coming on. Wheels keep turning me round and round and round and round. I'm running on fumes. I'm running on fumes. Running on fumes. Can't you see? I'm running on fumes. I'm shifting gear, it's hard to steer. Competition in my mirror, sweat running down my brow, making me just wonder how. Wheels keep turning me round and round and round and
just gonna start talking. And
Yeah.
we got this.
I
right?
think you're gonna keep going on the rest of the Saturday lineup.
Yeah, so Saturday, Something to Do is where we left off. The Crombies, and then the band you just heard, Max and the Invaders, and then finally Mephistopheles will be the main headliner. Tickets are currently on sale. You can find them if you go onto Facebook and you type in Skappleton. It will pop up the event, and it will provide you a link in which you can click it. They are $30. Again, this festival is being funded by Appleton.
Beer Factory.
Beer Factory. There you go. I don't know, someplace. No.
It's literally a brewery.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so there'll be beer there.
They should do a special brew for the fest.
I thought so. Yeah. I think, and they may. I haven't gotten word on if they are, but I'll hit them up and see. In fact, I'll text John right now. You keep going.
What am I? Keep going. You're the guest. Hold on. Play pause, host.
Hold on, I need
How
to
about
text
you?
someone. Time out.
Okay, so you also have Jump Up. Are they helping as far as like support on the Upbeat? Aren't those guys way out in California?
I think so.
Yeah, they're another show like what we do. They're a podcast. I think Max is one of the guys who runs it. So you can always check out their shows. They're like us, but they, I would say, mostly are exclusively ska, whereas we have all sorts of types.
Yeah, we mix all them cultures.
Oh my God, shut up. I can't. Oh, yeah. Halloween, somebody wanted to jump me because they were pissed off that my show allowed everybody on it. You can't mix cultures. I was like, I guess we found the racist tonight. It didn't go well.
Not so much a unity person. I get it.
No. But come on, it's 2023. Why do we still hate each other? I don't know. Come to this festival. Hug people. Real hugs equal world peace. Yay.
Amen.
Thank you. So how about you? Who are you most looking forward to seeing at this show?
Oh, gosh, I'm just so happy it's happening again. Like, everyone, but Mephistopheles, because I've never gotten the chance to see them before.
Does this say relic? It looks like a little deer.
What's that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Appleton Beer Factory designed it. This is the best part about Skappleton this year is I'm less involved in it, so it's way less stressful for me.
Oh.
But I know less, so
Well, that's nice.
yeah, it is cool. But they went on. They were able to get some sponsors, which is really cool. And I should be able to speak to them a lot better. Punk Rock Saves Lives is great. I'm excited they're a sponsor on here.
Cool.
So
do these will these organizations that sponsored be there in person to represent?
I hope so.
Well, I don't know if on the Upbeat will, but that would be
No,
really
right.
cool.
Right.
I mean, why not?
And I'm psyched Chuck Wren's coming because I tried for many years to get him to come to Skappleton and spin records and do just that,
Yeah.
and never had any luck getting him up here. And now
Do
he's
you know
here.
why he's coming?
Did you talk him into it?
No, I didn't talk him into it. His band. So Chuck comes whenever a jump up artist is there. So if the
I've
crowd,
had jump up artists in the past and he wasn't there, so I'm excited. He said he was there.
like, were they at the time jump up, or did they become jump up?
Or maybe they were previously jump up.
So
I couldn't tell you for sure, but
that's okay.
yeah, I tried. Is my point.
I
tried.
know he's an interesting human to try to work with.
He's a busy individual.
Yes. We had Deals Gone Bad come play with the Drastics at Parkside when I worked at the radio station there. And he came, but he didn't spin, and he just had some records out. But he gave me like one of these full of stuff, and I was like, that's really cool.
Very cool.
And I don't know. It's probably at the radio station still, because I was probably like, here, and those kids probably don't fucking know what a record is now. Anyway. So that's what I have to say about that. But yes, I've had to work or try to work with people before. We were at a show, Kiff and I, in Milwaukee, where there was a DJ spinning that I did not know his name, but he was awesome. Do you remember? He introduced himself, but it was very loud, so I couldn't really hear it. That was at that
He
art
was-
show you
He
did.
was spinning Scott.
Yes.
Okay.
That was,
In Club Jerry Baldy's.
yeah.
Oh.
because the
Over in
Invaders
Lakeview.
played,
Yeah.
and then who was it? New Society of Anarchists played. You had your art there. I shooed the deer out of the road so no one would hit them.
Oh,
Sounds like
yeah,
a good
yeah.
night.
'Cause
I
he was-
stopped my car and I went, shoo, 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 get away from the road. And they all ran away from the road so they wouldn't
saved
get
the
hit.
whole herd of deer that night.
It was a whole herd.
In Lakeview.
Yeah. They were all, because we were leaving and they were right on the lakefront, and they were walking into the road, and I was like, no! Because some jerk tried to like fly around me, and I was like, get away! I don't want the animals hit. I don't want people hurt.
I do remember that. I could delve in, like.
We will have to find the flyer because he's a DJ that was really good. We wanted to connect because he was like, oh, I need to come do more shows. And I think somehow he was tied into Chuck. And Chuck wasn't, I don't know. Anyway, but that's another person I would like. Let's talk about relevancy here,
Okay.
right? So this is new, and I had mentioned to you that I don't really know too many ska bands in Wisconsin. I feel like there was kind of like a culling of the herd, so to speak. Everyone graduated from ska and went on to play emo or prog rock or shoegaze or whatever the fuck sad shit they were playing, and it changed the whole like scape of what the scene was.
Mhm.
I know that Courtesy of Tim is from Madison. I know you guys exist here. I know that Max and the Invaders exist here. Something to do. But other than that, who else do you know in Wisconsin that plays ska?
Off the top of my head, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
So what
The
happened?
Scholars, I think, are they from Madison?
I thought they were from
They're-
Chicago.
Or are they from Chicago, maybe?
Is Ramon in that band?
Wait,
Mascales? I think he is. Right?
no,
No?
that's a
Are we
different
sure?
one. Yeah.
Well, because
So-
he became like the resident sax player in like all of them recently.
It's something similar to that sounding, but not that one.
I don't know.
Okay.
But
But point being, you're right. They're definitely less ska bands, right?
yeah,
In Wisconsin.
Malafacha. There it is.
That's the one they're from Chicago.
they
Yes.
are. Ramon's in that band, but he's in a lot of other ones too. But yeah, what happened? What happened to ska in Wisconsin?
Probably a discussion that, ska became a less popular genre for a period there.
I guess.
I think even some of the bigger bands will tell you that ska shows kind of tapered off. If you talk to Dave from Mustard Plug,
Yeah.
he'll tell you things got a little bit slower there. And I think people are starting to feel like it's a little bit back now again.
Right.
Coming back.
Yes, this horrible thing they want to call it. What is it? New tone?
Okay.
Yeah. Heavy sigh, right? I don't like-
How many waves do we need, really?
First off, it's not a wave.
Right.
It's not a wave because there's nothing new happening with it.
Yeah.
A resurgence doesn't mean another wave, right? It
Yeah.
just means that there was new life breathed into it, which I wouldn't argue as a wave because I feel like waves have to be distinguished by certain characteristics.
Yeah.
You have original ska, which started, right, 50s, 60s.
Jamaica.
So first wave ska is Jamaica ska. Then you go across the pond to England for two-tone, where the sound changed and there was a dramatic difference in the tonality as well as what the message was. There was this embrace of now the focus is on unity. The focus is on acknowledging the black and the white.
Right.
Then you have Bucket over here in the 80s. That's third wave ska to me. East Coast ska, when it came to America and became what I was first introduced to, that's ska as third wave.
Right.
Fourth wave is that horrible California shit. Sorry, guys. That everyone goes, you like ska? Oh my God, no, Dot and Real Big Fish. I'm like, polite pause.
Do they really call that fourth wave?
Yeah.
Like I feel like I just started hearing the term fourth wave recently, but
Well, I don't know, but that's how I group it.
okay.
You could argue that it's third wave parents A, if you'd like.
Derived, yeah.
Just because of the time frame. But that sounds so much different. Because California ska's like, ha 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 ha, we skate, no, we do it, we're happy, and we go all day. And like East Coast ska, those kids would beat you the fuck up. because the Skoy dance weren't fucking around, right? Their sound is more it's heavier.
It's hardcore, yeah.
Yeah. And now you have this new tone, I guess is what these kids, it's funny, these kids who are my age want to call it. I'm like, you're not doing anything different. It sounds the same.
Yeah.
It sounds the same.
I think we can agree that ska came to a point in the U.S. And granted, some people have done a few different things, you know, like
I would like ska adjacent things. We've had some bands on like that,
yeah,
like Flip and the Combined Effort, which mixes a lot of hip hop.
Close my eyes, clench my fists when you walk by. Did you know when you're near me, I wish I would die? Through with what you do to me. So but now figured out how to leave you. Not a gun or a knife, not a pillow or a noose. Give it to the count of three. You better hope the man in the black sedan won't come and find you. I'ma be the man to hold your hand and look behind you. Need to find a way to coexist. We'll just call it quits and you're no good for me, so I guess it's time to close my eyes, clench my fists when you walk by. Did you know when you're near me, I wish I would die? Through with what you do to me. So but now figured out how to leave you. Not a gun or a knife, not a pillow or a noose. I'll give you to the count of three. You better hope the man in the black sedan won't come and find you. I'll be the man to hold your hand and look behind you. Need to find a way to coexist. We'll just call it quits and you're no good for me, so I guess it's time to better call the man in a black sedan. Well, choking's too good for you. Have you ever said a single thing that's true? And driving is too good too. Okay, well, I made it, I want you blue. Alright, cause asphyxiation, reservation, hesitation, but every time gonna call the man in the black sedan, he'll come and find you. I'll be the man to hold your hand and look behind you. Need to find a way to coexist. We'll just call it quits and you're no good for me, so I guess it's time to gonna call the man in the black sedan. Gonna call the man in the black sedan. Gonna call the man in the black sedan. Maybe without you I'll be fine. Who knows? Who knows? I think about you all the time. It shows. It shows on my face I when I feel you out of place all the time. Picks me up, brings me back to the place. It shows. Maybe without you I'll be fine. Who knows? Who knows? Oh yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
We're back.
I like that you said it.
Right. Someone has to say it.
we're back. I was just going to sit here and stare longingly into the camera until there were questions asked about ska. Anyway, we're talking about new tone and how in order for that to, I think, be an actual wave, you have to bring something new to it. But as Kenny was talking about while we were listening to a song, we both agree that we don't very much enjoy the pretentiousness that is the ska community, and where a lot of people want to draw lines between what is the best wave
Right.
or what's
Or-
acceptable
right.
ska, because that's completely lacks the whole point of what ska is.
It's the opposite of the unity principle of ska, right?
Right. Right.
So yeah, I mean, and people will argue till they're blue in the face that no, two-tone is the only real ska, or traditional Jamaican is the only ska, or whatever. People, or yeah, punk ska doesn't have merit to it, or whatever. But you know, I think I personally, and this is just me, you can decide for yourself, but I lean back on the unity thing every time.
I
And
do too.
I'll say, you know, we can agree that you prefer this, and maybe this has a merit in certain circles, but in the end, if there's no unity, like, you're missing the point, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
So that's why this show came into existence, and so we've had some confusion, or people ask, why is it called that? You don't play ska, right? Because I love ska, and the whole point of ska is that it is based on that unity principle that everybody is allowed to come to the table, have their voice heard, and you know, humanity is about growth and evolution. That comes through unity, right? So that's why our show is non-genre specific, but I am stoked that you wanted to come on tonight to talk about ska with me, because it's been a while since we've had a ska band on our show, and I don't think we have one coming up for a while. However, if for some reason you are broken, bleeding, dying, or can't come to the show, we will be doing little snips, vignettes, I think we can politely call them, of Skappleton. So not only will I be emceeing, but Tiff will also be doing some videos for you guys, so you can get like a little taste, a little flavor of what the event is. Again, that's May. We didn't say the dates. May 12th and 13th. The 12th is at Dr. Jekyll's. That is Friday night. It is free. The lineup is was booked by Appleton
Beer Factory.
I was gonna say brewing. Beer Factory. ABF.
Yeah.
Cool.
You got it.
And so that lineup includes DJ Chuck Wren, who will spin throughout the evening, JF Zastro, the Chad O'Kennedy, you, Kenny Mechowski,
Maciejewski. The big old cool ska sing along. Come sing along with us. Thanks.
I can't be in your band now
Why not?
because I didn't say your name right.
No, you're.
Those were the rules.
You said the Black and Blue Hearts, which is what the band you need to be in.
Lefty Lucy headlines that night, and then Saturday. What time does this even start?
Noon.
12 p.m. Right? It's a lunch show, so doors open at 11. It starts at noon. Again, Chuck Rennan's going to spin for us. The Black and Blue Hearts kick off our day, right? Then local legends, courtesy of Tim, Mescales, Flying Raccoon Suit, Space Monkey Mafia, Joystick, Something to Do, the Crombies, Max and the Invaders, and Mephiscopheles. Yay!
Be awesome.
Their sponsors are on the Upbeat Ska, Jump Up Records, I don't even know how to say this, Shed Music, maybe, Punk Rock Saves Lives, and I think it says Relic, but it's very small print, so I can't
It's
see.
vintage and oddity relic.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, I can't see that. How do you see that? Oh, look at
I
you.
zoomed.
Oh.
Zoomed in.
Oh,
And Hyde Music,
there you go.
which is
Hyde.
a music store in Appleton. Great store.
Fox Valley Music Festivals. Ticketleap.com is where you can buy your tickets. They are currently $30. This is all ages, which is also
All ages.
another selling caveat to this show. Like, how awesome is it? But if kudos to Fox Valley in general, because they have so many all age A venues and B shows that happen. We've come to learn from all of these other bands that play in that area, like Toy Boxes and Paper Trail, who will be on the show in June. We've had Squid, who I think was from up there, came on here. Who was that little kid who came down and played our house show for you? And then Cherokee Astro. What was that kid's name? Cade. Yeah. So we had a house show, and Cade was this little kid from I think it is Appleton. And he came and he's like, my mom said I could play this. And I said, what the fuck? How old are you, kid? I'm 17. I'm like, what? Your mom allowed you to come to a stranger adult's house to play a house party.
Yeah.
610 played that night. they're a big group from Chicago, so I was like, okay. But then he came back and played with a band called Cherokee Astro later on when he became an adult.
Also Radio Hate, but he's not in that band
Oh,
anymore.
Radio Hate. He's not in that band anymore? They contacted us recently. They're a band, Sheboygan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which is not Fox Valley. Or is it?
I don't think it's technically considered Fox Valley.
Okay.
It's on Lake Michigan.
They are known as the Midwest surfing capital.
That's what I understand.
Yeah.
And I plan to go and surf there sometime.
Do you surf?
I do.
Oh.
I've done mostly in California. And I'm not amazing at it, but I do enjoy it. Matter of fact, and I bought my wife a surfboard for Christmas. And you would not believe how hard it is to buy your wife a used surfboard in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the middle of December.
I feel like that would be a phenomenally difficult
It was,
task.
but I found one.
Good
used
job!
for $100.
Yeah. Go to Sheboygan.
Yeah, we're gonna take it to Sheboygan and we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah. There are people who windsurf over here. That's all I see. But that movie Surf's Up, the little chicken dude, he's from Sheboygan.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Huh.
It was like a mad props to this area because
I think I remember that.
most surfing is not done around here. But anyway, come to Skappleton. I'm emceeing the event. I guess I'm also playing in a few fucking bands now. Cool,
She's
thanks.
in a few bands. I think there's going to be a few T-shirts that Appleton Beer Factory is going to have for the
Cool.
show.
Bring money for merch.
And we'll probably put up a on-demand T-shirt option too. I'll post it on the Skappleton website. Hopefully, have it up in the next week. So if you want a Skappleton T-shirt with the lineup and stuff on it,
Do you run the website?
The Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
And the hope is that this continues.
we're gonna hope so. It's got to go well this year. So buy your tickets.
Buy tickets, but pre-sale is going pretty well.
Pre-sale's going pretty well. I would love to see it happen again.
How did this lineup come to be? Who was in charge of doing this?
So it was really me feeding some ideas to Appleton Beer Factory and a mix of that and people reaching out to them about wanting to play.
So, okay, which ones did you say we know Max?
Oh, I had a list that's like way beyond this. Matter of fact, we were talking about my buddy Brad Waldock earlier, who you guys know.
Oh, yes, we know Brad. He makes us beer.
Yeah. That's actually how I got to know him because he used to come to the old Skappletons over at Tanner's and he would make the beer and like he would say, "Hey Kenny," he's like, "come out to my van with me." And he would like give me his wife his beer in his van out back.
Yes.
It was really cool. Brad's an amazing guy. Hi Brad, if you're watching this. But everyone should get to know Brad Waldock if you don't. But that said, what were we going with? So I sat down with him. I said, I need ideas for this lineup. And so he and I made out a bunch of ideas. And, I fed most of them to, John over at Appleton Beer Factory. And so yeah, a lot of those are my suggestions. And a lot of them, I think, just reach out to those guys.
Cool.
So it's kind of a mix.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, have you heard Flying Raccoon Suit? Do you know who they are?
I've listened to their songs online.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know them personally. I haven't seen them live, but I'm excited.
So what I would also like to do that day, if I can, possibly, is this is an open invitation to any of those bands. If they want an interview, we can do that too. Just like a quick, who are you? Why the fuck are you here? Thanks. And I need to preface that. It should have, hey, man in the box, you should put a preface that says not an existential question. Why am I here? But how do you come to be at this festival? Should we play more music?
Yeah.
You want to play more music?
Let's do it.
Play more music, Chris. In the box. Hello.
We'll get another song. Been out for all 3 times. Yeah, everybody.
Oh, I love it.
Really with give another one, another one, another one, another one. Julie left the coke and there was nothing else to do. Julie left the coke and there was nothing else to say. It was pumping through her heart and it was pulsing through her veins, numbing out her throat and it was pounding in her brain. Julie left the coke and there was nothing else to say. Julie took an oxy with a glass of Chardonnay. When they found her on the sidewalk in the street in Lake Hermay, paramedics said that they arrived a bit too late. Through the cave street, a bone broke again. I tried to scream, I never wanna let the party end. On the protagonist, it's off before the sun and gone. Back to the tune, I had a few more drinks around the sun.
Had a good time on the road, and now we're coming home. Never wanted to leave the catacomb where our glasses overflowed. Not a dollar left to spend, now it's coming to an end. California, tell me, can we still be friends? And now it's back to work I go, to the land of ice and snow, dreaming of the days that I would race the wrong beach before the show. But is this the life for me? Either way, it's reality. I'm trapped inside my 9 to 5. Please set me free. Stand tall, stand strong. Times get tough, keep pushing on and don't fall, don't run. Let the music pick you up and step outside and clear it, and you just may find the madness will subside. It's gotta be alright. Getting cold, those long nights are getting old. Dreaming of the place, sun on my face, feeling so good I could implode. And now I can't escape this hell, ain't got no chance to break my shell. That's when I close my eyes and tell myself, stand tall, stand strong. Times get tough, keep pushing on and don't fall, don't run. Let the music pick you up and step outside and just may find the madness will subside. It's gotta be alright. Stand tall, stand strong. Times get tough, keep pushing on and don't fall, don't run. Let the music pick you up and step outside and clear head, and you just may find the madness will subside. It's gotta be alright. Stand tall, stand strong. Times get tough, keep pushing on and don't fall, don't run. Let the music pick you up and step outside and clear head, and you just may find the madness will subside. It's gotta be alright. It's gotta be alright, yeah. It's gotta be just fine. Gotta be alright. Whoa.
Hey, we're back.
Hey,
We're
we're
back.
back!
We got a lot of songs to play. So, but I got a text just from John at the Appleton Beer Factory.
Yay! Our question had been, are they going to make a special brew?
Yeah, let's see what he said.
And then while I was talking to fill the space, so
Let's
we weren't just
see.
staring at you, he sent a
He's
text.
working on the shirt. We know that.
Cool.
No, they're not gonna do a custom brew, I guess.
Oh. Do they have sours?
What's that?
Sours? What kind of beer do you like? Do you like beer?
You know what? It's funny. I actually used to brew beer for a while, so I really liked beer. I had a kegerator in my house and the whole thing. I think Brad might have inspired that in me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and but I kind of lost my thing for beer recently. And I still have a couple beers a year, but I like malty beers. I'm not like those. Everyone likes hops nowadays. It kind of seems like a thing, but I'm not like a hops guy. I don't like the bitters, the IPAs, or any of that. Like, I want my beer to have like a full flavor, but more of a malty profile. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand.
Like a Doppelbock, right?
Okay.
Yeah, or a Belgian triple, or something like that.
Gotcha.
That's where there's Scottish ale maybe.
I understand.
Yeah.
But not for me.
Yeah.
As you can tell, we are a sour group here. So
I
how
like
can
stouts too.
I've got one for you.
you do?
Yeah.
Like to put on the wall, you drank it and you're gonna put it on
No,
the
I'm
wall?
going to give you the beer.
Okay.
My aunt and uncle own a donut shop in Madison, and they did a collaboration for a cherry sour beer with one of the breweries out there in Madison.
Ooh, that sounds wonderful.
So
Give it to us
remind
in
me.
June.
Remind me.
So we started, how this comes to be, and for those who can't see, it's all over. Our basement has this all over it, and so it's filled with all of our beer adventures. But when Kip and I first started dating, the collection came because I left to go to my dad's retirement from the military, big to-do ceremony, and he had Kip, he likes garbage, had started saving a can from each of the beers that we had as a couple, and we had just really started dating. And we would go pick out like little mix and match packs and drink one of each. So I'm in Kentucky at Fort Knox, and he sends me a picture and he's like, look at what I started. And it was on the wall in our first basement. And then we were having dinner. It was like a taco night, and we tried Sierra Nevada's Ortavaz was our first Goza.
Okay.
So a Goza style beer is top fermented. It's a style of fermentation.
Okay.
So the hops or yeast is added on top, and it's fermented down.
It's an old
Yes.
German style of brewing that it's salty and
Yes,
sour
it was
rather than malty.
and delicious.
Huh.
So it's usually mixed with a fruit so that it's not as bitter, but it's very carbonated. So it's kind of like beer soda, I guess,
Huh.
right? So we started discovering all these Gozas, and then it just kind of, I think, progressed where it was like, well, now where we were getting that didn't carry that. Let's try these other sours. So from that, we get all of these now. And there are a few like ciders in here, and so yeah, I like fruity things.
This is a collection.
It's,
It's impressive.
yeah, my mom this is from my mom, I think, in Colorado.
Yes, it is.
She went to Colorado and brought us back beer so that we could have it from a different state. So they all have a story. And then I joke with Kip, I'm like, yay, we're real good at keeping garbage. But you
It's
know,
actually aluminum. It's recyclable, so it's really not garbage.
and we might, when we die and the kids are like, fuck this, they can go turn it in and maybe have a little inheritance. Just kidding. You're getting paid in beer cans, bitches. But you know what isn't garbage? Skappleton, which is happening May 12th and 13th. So come to that festival.
Come to the festival. Should we play another song?
Yeah, we
We got-
should
we got-
play another
We
song.
got a few more songs to get through, so we should keep these rolling.
How many songs do we have left, man in the box? Cool. Let's play 3.
That's good.
Thanks for your listening enjoyment.
I feel
And
like-
man in the box is going to cue that up.
I feel like Monster Club should be playing. We should be playing Living in a Box.
I'd be contented if I were for tomorrow.
trying to fill that emptiness with juice and drink enough to keep my head right. No one that says someone stronger. No one that says someone stronger. I finish off to a brand new sunrise. The moving sidewalk, streetlamps whirl. Spinning far till I see your eyes. I'm out of the world. I'm out of the world. I finish off to a brand new sunrise. Moving sidewalk, streetlamps whirl. Splitting far till I see your eyes. I'm out of the world. I'm out of the world. I'm out of the world. No es una moda, no, un gusto pasajero de mi infancia, un capricho que ha quedado en la vagancia, mi estilo de vida, el punk y el rock and roll. Oh, vaya coincidencia, mis amigos siguen en la resistencia, sembrando música y cultura como herencia, marcha para la otra generación. Oh, y es imposible intentar poder cambiar mi manera de vestir o mi manera de pensar. Y es imposible intentar poder cambiar lo que tú pienses de mí, nunca jamás me va a importar. No es una moda, no, un gusto pasajero de mi infancia, un capricho que ha quedado en la vagancia, estilo de vida, el punk y el rock and roll. Oh, cuántos momentos, cuánta música, cervezas y conciertos, con mis amigos siempre los peores momentos, y más para la otra generación. Oh, 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 sé que el tiempo es corto y que jamás regresa, pero mientras se termina, brindemos con cerveza. Yo sé que el tiempo es corto y que jamás regresa, pero mientras se termina, brindemos con cerveza. Imposible intentar poder cambiar mi manera de vestir o mi manera de pensar. Es imposible intentar poder cambiar lo que tú pienses de mí, nunca jamás me va a importar. No es una moda, no, un gusto pasajero de mi infancia, un capricho que ha quedado en la
kind of what I'm going for here, the DIY kind of music video.
Wheeling like a boat on the crest of a wave. I know the bark peels back, feels the decay. And so the current lets it carry me downstream, drowning from the way. The hourglass sits underneath the air that flow. The tendrils grip that I stop the field and grow. The current lets it carry me downstream, drowning from the way. Pariahs fed to piranhas that sail on marks on driftwood prevail. The preconceived notions were destined to fail. You can't float when the baggage weighs you down. The shore is all you want to see. I need more than survival. Grasp for something that's vital. Pariahs fed to piranhas that sail on marks on driftwood prevail. The preconceived notions were destined to fail. You can't float when the baggage weighs you down. The shore is all you want to see. I need more than survival. Grasp for something that's vital. Shining light to break through the night, then I'll carry on my own. Shining light to break through the night, then I'll carry on my own. Pariahs fed to piranhas that sail on marks on driftwood prevail. The preconceived notions were destined to fail. You can't float when the baggage weighs you down, and the shore is all you want to see. All you want to see.
Are we back?
Yeah.
Hey! I get so excited. I hope that people on the other end are like, oh my God, why? Especially if they have their earbuds in. Because I know, I don't even need a microphone. But I'll have one at Skappleton because I'm going to MC that thing. Hoot, 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 hoot. What? I don't even know what I'm going to do. Just
The
stand
show's
up
going
there.
to be 15% more interesting because you're emceeing, I guarantee.
So,
I promise.
May.
It's a good percentage.
It's a good percentage. 12%?
No, 15.
Oh.
15.
You don't know how hard it is to amp up a festival like Skappleton 15%. Like, it's already, like, so high up there. Like, 15% is a lot.
It is a lot. I know. That's because for some reason I went from, oh, she's emceeing to, oh, you're in this band. And, oh, you're going to play for this group too. So I guess get me the music. I want to see. Yeah.
You're looking forward to seeing Jess play saxophone that day.
Hey, how about I play clarinet?
That too.
Clarinets are in ska bands, right? Clarinets are like jazz instruments, friends. I'm really good at clarinet. So I started on saxophone just because my sister, Catholic school, was in a band that wanted to, they always do a marching band, but they didn't have saxophones. So without that, they couldn't compete. So me in a public school was asked, hey, your sister's part of this group. Would you come? We'll teach you how to play it, and I'll give you a saxophone if you. And I was like, sure. So that's why I come to play saxophone, and it stuck anyway. But May 12th and May 13th in Appleton, Wisconsin, Friday night at Dr. Jekyll's, we have a more local-based lineup playing. Lefty Lucy is headlining. Kenny and his friends will be doing a ska-baya.
Yep. Big ol' ska sing along.
Yep. I did it. It goes both ways. And Chuck Wren will be there DJing. He's also there Saturday at noon at Appleton Beer Factory. Got it right. You can see an awesome lineup, which includes, let's see here, Black and Blue Hearts, Local Legends, courtesy of Tim, Mescales, Flying Raccoon Suit. I actually thought about bringing one of those for that shtick. I was like, I have little raccoon ears because I went as a raccoon one year. Because I has a little raccoon on me. Because I like raccoons. I'm going to wash my hands before I announce the next band. Space Monkey Mafia! Joystick, something to do the Crombies. Max and the Invaders and Mephistopheles. D-O-G-G-O-D! Anyways, so...
We look forward to seeing y'all there.
Yeah. Kenny will be there.
I'll be there.
Kenny has, for a long time, besides being a 12-year member of Something to Do, and now in various other things, right?
Yep.
Helped put together, run, organize, fund this festival, and it's back now. And so please come support something that takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to continue to have. Festivals are not easy things to put together. They're not easy to have continue on. And this one, just like ska, hasn't yet died out. So please buy your tickets in advance. They're $30. This is an all ages show, so you don't have the excuse of, well, I have kids. Because I was going to try to use that, but my kids are old enough I can bring them.
Bring them.
Lame.
Lame. What, lame that we have kids or lame that, well, you don't even know Homer Simpson. Hush your mouth there. But we'll be there. And if for some reason you do come up with a worthwhile excuse to not be there, we will also be, Kif will be videoing some of the festival's activities and a little snip of each of the bands as our goal so that you can see what this festival is all about.
Maybe I'll take pictures and upload
No,
all
he'll
these
take
other
pictures.
pictures that I never did
You
before.
still have pictures from Midwest Ska Fest.
Uh-huh.
Kif has all of our adventuring somewhere that just have never gone up because he's like, I'll get to it later. So with that being said, Kenny, thank you so much.
Jess, thanks for having me.
Do you
I
have
really
anything to say?
appreciate it. A special shout out to, again, John Silby, Appleton Beer Factory, Fox Valley Music Festivals for really reviving this festival and bringing it back. Thank you, Jess and Kip, for having me today. And thank you to all of you for coming to Skappleton on May 12th and 13th.
With that, we're going to play the last 3 songs that Kenny helped selected for your listening enjoyment this evening, and then we will bid you adieu. But come back next week because Jeff and Mario will be joining us. Chris, the man in the box, will not be, so you won't get the fun interludes of music videos in between. However, we'll go old school with it, and it will be Kif and me and playing stuff off of the PA and the band and, how we used to piece it together when you used to love us. So we'll play our last 3 songs and we'll catch you next week. Kenny, thank you so much. And if you want to see this ridiculousness in person, come to Skappleton on May 12th and 13th. Thanks.
Got some news today. The overtime, it just ain't coming. Checks a little light this week, dear. Bank account is getting close to nothing. corporate slips again. We'll all be seeing pain. Coming home, I can't relax. This job is taking over. My soul can't take much more. I know we've got them bills to pay. This just isn't worth it. More human than resource. You don't own my dinosaur brain. Death's not coming through. The rock and the place I can't squeeze through. No choice but to break, break, break. Coming home, I can't relax. Apprehension keeps me static. I got too much time to think. Let's chase the good life out across Nebraska. Our arm out the window, hold the door shut. It's all fucking broken. You don't own my dinosaur brain. Death's not coming too. The rock and the place I can't squeeze through. No choice but to break, break, break. You don't own my dinosaur brain. Death's are coming due. The rock and the place I can't squeeze through. No choice but to break, break, break. A key in the door, note on the floor, note on the table, and a meal in the micro note says I'm in bed. Please make sure that you're fed. If you're big in the shower, please you borrow your bathrobe. When I'm asleep, you dream you're moving next week. I crumple the note and take it to it in my shoebox. Shoebox of life. It's under my bed, it's never been read. It's in with my school stuff and my mom never cleans it. From my first little bib, when I first wore a bib, and my feeling is sorry, and down in the bathroom. When I'm asleep, they've been moving next week. The crowd turns a single bolt goes stuffed into my shoebox. Shoebox of life. Shoebox. Shoebox of life. Need somebody tell you this is how it's supposed to be. Or did you just think that you don't want any more of me? Let's hear for Stu. And off of you lies, I can tell you goodbye. I can tell you you're sorry, and I know you're the truth here. I can never do good, and I think understood, and I never be sorry, and I tell you the truth here. What if I could? Did you do any good? When Pop turned a single bolt of something on my shoebox. Shoebox of life. Shoebox. Shoebox of life. You're so 1999, and it's 2024. Leave the world behind because you don't want me anymore. Lies, 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 lies. This goes out to the little ones. We'll try to keep you safe in a world of smoking guns. We promise you. We promise you. This goes out to the middle ones. We'll help you find your way. When the world steers you wrong, we'll fight for you. We'll fight for you. Sometimes it makes me sad to say there won't be next time, there won't be next year. 'Cause you'll be marching with the angels on parade. You'll be marching with the angels on parade. This goes out to the brave ones, headed toward the fire. When others turn and run, we stand with you. We stand with you. This goes out to the wise ones. We need to learn from you. Before your journey's done, we look to you. We look to you. Sometimes it makes me sad to say there won't be next time, there won't be next year. 'Cause you'll be marching with the angels on parade. You'll be marching with the angels on parade. There won't be next time, there won't be next year. 'Cause you'll be marching with the angels on parade. You'll be marching with the angels on parade. There won't be next time, there won't be next year. 'Cause you'll be marching with the angels on parade. You'll be marching with the angels on parade. You'll be marching with